Yeah, we'll go ahead and get started. Time is 5 o'clock. I call the meeting of the Atoka Municipal Golf Authority to order. If we'd all rise as we do the Pledge of Allegiance and the invocation. Face the flag, salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
One nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Sorry. Thank you.
Need some water?
Now, I've got one. I need some more of it, apparently. Would you bow with me, please? Our most gracious Heavenly Father, Lord, we come to you this evening, Lord, just asking your blessings upon this meeting. Lord, just give us the wisdom and guidance to do the very best we can to further the golf course and have something for our citizens to enjoy, Lord. Lord, be with each and every one here as we travel home this evening. Keep us safe, and we ask this in Jesus' name. Amen. All right, let me try to do a shot of that water. Would the clerk call roll, please?
Ms. Thomas? Here. Mr. Burridge? Mr. Henderson?
Here.
Mr. Armstrong?
Here.
Chairman?
Here. All right. Welcome, everyone. Everyone's had a good Monday. As we roll down, this is the time for public comments. This is anything that's not on the posted agenda. You may address the board at this time. Hearing none, we'll move now to the business agenda. Item number 1, discussion and/or action regarding approving and rejecting the minutes of the meeting of May 6th, 2024. Do I hear a motion?
I'll make it.
Motion made. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Motion is second. Roll call, please.
Mr. Henderson?
Yes.
Ms. Thomas?
Aye.
Mr. Armstrong?
Aye.
Chairman?
Aye. Item number 2, discussion and/or action regarding accepting and rejecting the superintendent's report. Mr. Gregory, good evening, sir.
Okay, well, there wasn't as much accomplished this month as there was last month, simply because our focus kind of switched to one area this month. Sprigs have been laid, finally. They were laid last Monday. We got the first round of what's called mill orgonite, which is just kind of a soil neutralizer, I guess you could say. It was put on there the day after. And then the first round of fertilizer was a 13. It was applicated on Thursday, and then the second round of fertilizer, which was a liquid, was put on there today. That was a Thrive. And that's basically the stuff that makes it go crazy, crawl instead of grow up, so. As far as the sprigs go, I called Marcus today, which is the guy that came and laid them. Basically just asked him, I said, okay, it's been a week, what should we be looking at? And his exact words were, well, I wouldn't be surprised if they're all still brown right now, as hot as it was last week. And I told him, I said, well, that's kind of not our case. We've got a lot of green, fresh growth all over the green right now. And he was pretty shocked at that. So he basically said, whatever we're doing, just keep doing it. So he actually said that there was a couple golf courses they sprigged 2 weeks earlier than that still aren't there yet. So I feel like we're doing all we can, as far as that's concerned. The lake has been drained. I let it drain for 8 days. At one point in number 7, we had almost 78 foot of fairway gone underwater. So we've got that back under control, thankfully. All trees, during the wet time, I had nothing else to do but trim trees. So we went through and trimmed just about every tree on that golf course. The 150-yard markers have been placed in the fairways. They're up, and as far as I can tell, everybody likes them. It's just kind of a new look for the golf course, and I've always been a big fan of that, and everybody that I spoke with liked the idea of it too, so I went ahead and made that decision to do it. And they are centered on our new greens to the center, and I'm not gonna say they're exact, but they're within a foot, so.
That's pretty
It's a
close.
lot closer than I can swing a golf club, so you should be
pretty
good.
close.
Yeah.
So,
I won't blame you if I miss the
yeah,
green.
yeah. All fairways have had a second round of spray applicated, just because, going from what we had to what we're trying to go for, you know, the first couple years of spraying is gonna be pretty heavy. I mean, they're gonna be probably nonstop. I mean, typical year, we'll probably spray maybe 4 times. This year, it's looking more like 7. But is what it is, and those areas that the Dallas grass have kind of choked everything out, you know, they're gonna look bad for a while, but that Bermuda grass will bounce back, and, you know, it's just kind of a necessary evil at this point to do that. 'Cause otherwise it just, you'll never get it under control. It's like, kinda like Bahia grass, once you let that stuff get in, it's almost a 5 to 6 year period of just nonstop spraying before you actually make a good dent and making sure that stuff don't come back. So, sprayed the bunkers, trying to get them prepped for, probably start on them in a month, getting them prepped for when we get back on the greens. You know, those will be ready. They look kinda bad right now just because hadn't been one of the focus points of the golf course at this point. But we will get those wrapped up, and then that bunker, of course, on number 2, we're gonna fill that in, and I was gonna kinda get with you guys on what we wanted to do with that area. We can go 2 ways. We can either turn that into one big mogul, or just knock those lips off of it and push them up against the green. That way it comes off the green and just kinda sways down.
Yeah, I would think because this is just a report giving time frame, so
Yeah.
just when you get a couple of different options on paper, then we'll have an agenda item
Yeah.
for everybody to look at to
So,
see which
that's
way they wanna do it.
kind of what I had. Looking forward, we have got plenty of rain in the last 2 months. The fairways, we just started watering those today, just hitting them a little bit in between, because when we make our rounds, we've got about a 15 to 20 minute just dry period there where we're waiting, so we'll just turn one fairway on and one at a time kind of go down the line. But I don't have any concerns with the Bermuda grass, you know, dying out on us or anything. You know, now that we've had 2 weeks of dry weather, I think it's more than healthy enough to survive whatever heat we got coming right now.
So you did, just so I'm refreshed, you did aerate all the fairways?
All of them.
And then fertilized them all, and then you
Twice.
sprayed, fertilized them, yeah. So you substantially helped the root system of the grass that were in the fairways.
It should be
Just to-
healthy.
yeah.
And the weeds are, I mean, I'm not
Yeah.
seeing many weeds.
There might be, you can count on 2 hands, maybe, every fairway, how many weeds are in there.
Yeah.
So,
So they're getting whooped back pretty good
Yeah.
to spray.
yeah, that helped big time. You know, the rough areas were the worst, because the fairways, at least, were kind of scalped down all these years, so
Yeah.
they didn't really give some of the weeds a good chance to get good roots on them. But Dallas grass can obviously survive in that environment, so, but the rough areas and stuff that we're adding in, those are where you're gonna see a lot of that. Looks kinda tacky right now, but like I said, it's just, you gotta kill that stuff out to let the Bermuda grass come back in. And that requires, after you kill it out, to let it just do what it needs to do, you know, for however long it needs to do it. Because you can give it everything it needs, but you can't make it grow any faster than it's gonna grow. So, what I do think, by the end of this year, all of our fairways, all our patches will be gone in our fairways. I'm gonna guess around 80% of our rough areas will have grown back in with Bermuda grass. So we might start out next year with a couple bare spots in some places, but definitely by the end of next year, I have no doubt that all that Bermuda grass will have taken over everything. So, just like I said, at this particular time right now, it's just kind of an eyesore, but it's a necessary evil, and that's a process you gotta go through. Unless, you know, we were to throw sod or sprig that area too. The course is obviously in healthy shape. grass is thriving, in my opinion. You know, I would like to see a lot more weekend play out there, but, what I've been hearing the most of is it's temp greens, you know. Nobody wants to play on temp greens, which, like I said, we can't control that at this point, because that's just what we had to do. And in my opinion, some of the temp greens that I've looked at on other golf courses, ours are really not that bad. So, yeah, looking forward. I can't wait till the greens are done.
Oh, that's
How
good.
often do you have in the water right
The greens, right now, we'll start off in the morning with kind of a heavy water. All the greens will get 20 minutes, 15 to 20 minutes.
At 7 o'clock.
Yeah, we'll turn them pumps on, and there's greens getting watered by 7 o'clock. And we'll do that every hour during daylight hours. And we've been stopping around 7:45, 8 o'clock, you know, by the time the sun's behind the trees and every green's in the shade, so. They're getting plenty of water, and that's one thing Marcus said, because we actually started having some algae growing on a couple greens, because we was watering too much water. So he said, just back off the water a little bit, you know, maybe go to hand watering, which we did. You know, some of the top tiers, they will dry out faster than the bottom, so we'll just plug in and water the top of those greens, and then go back to regular schedule. But after my conversation with him today, his thoughts were, if they're actually that far ahead of what he thought they were gonna be, we might even be able to start reducing the water towards the end of this week. And then after that, we'll go to just watering twice a day, you know.
After this week?
Yep.
What about sand? Have you added anything?
He said we don't have to. The sand, you know, we tried it that day, and it started pushing the sprigs when it was hitting the ground, so he said, don't do that, and just wait. And I asked him if we needed to sprig, or not sprig, but sand this week, and he indicated that if they're doing their thing, then just let them go.
Let 'em-
Cause he said the sand has absolutely nothing to do with actually growing that stuff. You know, the sand is for leveling purposes. So he said if they're starting to get a good root and starting to establish roots on them, then just let them go, and then we'll worry about the sanding later. So,
I've seen the water, on all the greens running,
yeah,
and it looks like it's covering good. How did it do today, like when the wind was real windy?
it went good.
Still getting
Yeah.
pretty even coverage?
Yeah, cause the heads that are on the downside wind, you know, with the wind blowing that way and they're spraying that way, them things are almost blowing over the entire green. So, you know, even though the heads on that side of the green are maybe getting 10 foot in there, these are covering
Yeah,
all of it. But,
yeah, it looked like they're doing pretty good. They're
Yeah.
shooting pretty high.
Yeah.
Vertical wise.
yeah,
And 360 degrees.
yeah. Yeah, we're getting, on a calm day, probably 45 to 50 foot outside of the greens watered as well. So we're getting pretty good coverage off those heads.
Yeah.
And I added probably one more head to every green than I should have, but I'd rather have more water than not enough.
Hadn't had any leaks show up?
We've had some leaks, but.
Oh, a few more leaks
yeah,
showed up?
Yeah, we've been able to fix them, you know, within just.
You want
10
that aerator back out there?
Yeah. Yeah, well, it's mostly been on like, places where golf carts run over the heads, not around the greens, but like in the fairways and stuff.
Okay.
And, you know, when we go to work with the fairway stuff, the head will just torpedo up. And,
Yeah.
Let's go down there and fix that, and we'll fix that right quick, and then go back to water, and then when we come back around, we'll switch them on and catch it on the next swing.
Have you got you a pretty good surplus of parts?
Eh,
Keep you enough fittings and stuff for weekends and?
Yeah, we've got enough, I'd say, 2 or 3 parts.
Okay.
The problem with out there is, which at this point is kinda under control, but you never know what you're gonna run into. Like, we had to fix like an 1 1/4 pipe the other day, and we didn't have no 1 1/4 stuff, so I had to go get some 1 1/4 stuff. But everything we've been fixing is just standard 1 inch and 2 inch pipe, which we had a pretty good surplus of that. We've used that up, but every time I walk in the wire, I'll buy 2 or 3 extras.
Yeah, if you need one, buy 3.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Have you had plenty of help?
we've had plenty of help. We've had lots of volunteer help this week. And so big shout out to those guys. They'll get out there and really hammer down, and that kind of eases the workload and enables us to go back to mowing and try and get all that stuff taken care of while the water is getting done.
So you got one more week of this?
One more week, which, like I said, I think I'm gonna probably start Thursday. I'm gonna start tapering the water down a little bit, so every hour, I'm gonna try to go every 2 hours and see what that does. Especially with 2 rounds of fertilizer on there, cause I'll put another round of fertilizer on Friday,
Yeah.
and it's gotta be wet enough to melt whatever fertilizer we put on there.
I don't know if you guys have been out there, but all 9 greens have color. Like they've got a green tint. You can reach down and grab a clump of grass and it's attached.
Yeah.
It's
So
pretty amazing.
That's
they're
pretty-
taking help.
It really
They're
is.
taking, that's a quick,
That is.
Well, it just tells me that CJ's done a great job
Yeah.
prepping the greens and getting them ready and getting the pH right, so the grass is ready to do its thing.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
they've got a
it's-
green tint and they're taking help.
It likes that soil, which
Yeah.
they're really green right now, cause I put some color in them right this morning when I sprayed liquid.
Oh, boy. Really, they're brown, but he's got enough dye on them, they look like they're fresh green.
Right. But no, that stuff will wear off, and I'm hoping by the time that dye wears off, that it won't even look like the dye wore off, You'll think the dye's still on there, and it won't be on there, it'll be grass color.
Do you have those pumps set up to where you can operate them remotely now, or do you just have to
No.
actually physically?
I wanted to do the first 2 weeks manually. I knew it was gonna be a pain, but I wanted to make sure, I didn't wanna be out there mowing and look up and there be a green that's supposed to be going and it not going, and, no telling how long it's been doing that, so I wanted to make sure the first 2 weeks.
It's pretty critical, the two.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah, this time frame right here, while it's trying to get
Yes.
established, is,
about the most crucial,
Yes.
because once it gets established, then it's a hardy, tough grass, it's like Bermuda grass, you can tear it up, you can run a plow through it, and it'll still come back, but.
One thing about with that humidity and heat, that Bermuda grass should be.
Yeah.
it's 80 plus at night
Yeah.
right
Yeah.
now, it ought to be turning and
Yeah, it's
burning.
perfect growing
It's
weather.
perfect.
So I just want to say thank you for all your effort out there. I know there's been, I don't even know an eighth of it, but, and I know it's hard. Everybody sees improvements and they want it tomorrow, They want it to look,
Today.
they want Instalon, and it's gonna be just to think of what it was before and the improvements that have been made in such a short period of time, even though it does seem like been at it a minute, it's looking amazing out there. It
Yeah.
really, really is.
Well,
Appreciate that.
what's the date are you shooting for to mow it? I mean, is that-
For the first mow, I'm hoping July 10th, around that area for the first mow.
And then play 8 weeks, 10 weeks.
They said just a good cushion, 12 weeks. You can get there in 10, which is what I'm gonna try to do, but 12 weeks is a general kind of cushion that they.
From the
need to
day we
make.
sprigged?
Yeah.
Oh, listen to
So that puts us, we's aiming for August 1st, but with the rain delay and everything, that pushes
Yeah.
back 3.5 weeks, we're shooting more for September 1st now. And I'm hoping more for like middle of August, but, I'm not gonna chance it on, everybody just dying to get on there and we get on there and it's not time yet, it's not worth it to do all this work and then shortcut it right there at the end, so. But that's kinda July 10th-ish in that area is when I hope for the first mow, and we will have sanded by then, to kinda give it more of a level cut. But it will look rough. I mean, we'll have to sand it probably 2 or 3 times before it starts really looking like a smooth manicured green. But, so.
Any other questions or comments for the superintendent? Hearing none, do I hear a motion to accept the report?
I'll make a motion to accept the superintendent's report.
I'll second it.
Motion is second, roll call, please.
Ms. Thomas?
Aye.
Mr. Henderson?
Aye.
Mr. Armstrong?
Aye.
Chairman?
Aye. Item 3, discussion and/or action on approving and rejecting the payment of purchase orders for the month of May 2024, and those been presented. If there's any questions?
Is the portable toilet up there by that Fifth Green being used?
It is being used, just not all that much. I really don't think we need it anymore. They
It's
come-
$100 a month, but I just wondered if anybody's even using it.
I'd say,
Probably a few men.
yeah, maybe once, one person.
What do you
a-
say, Chris?
yeah.
Staying out of there.
You're not going in there.
But I
One-
will say, every time I
One person
play,
a day, maybe.
it seems like one of those guys always goes over there.
Yeah,
I'd say maybe the older gentlemen in the morning, they might.
That's the ones I'm playing
You
with.
might,
Yeah.
we could ask them, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, they finally pumped it this morning. It's been a minute since they pumped it last, and
Oh,
that's
so-
why, that's a big reason why
Nobody's using
no
it.
visitors come in
Oh,
there.
really?
Yeah. But they did come in there and pumped it out and cleaned it, and still smells like a porta potty, but
When nature calls.
when they call.
Rose Betty of the name.
well, not any huge expenses for the month. I'm not seeing any.
No, most of,
Our fuel tanks are full, I guess.
no, we're about to have to fill the diesel tank back up.
Diesel tank back up.
This next month, probably. That's just because we've had tractors, skid steers, I mean, everything in there, and we've been filling them up and going to work.
Yeah.
But I don't see that in the future being a big issue. I think we'll be able to fill that thing up once a year and be done with it, but.
Any other question, comment? If not, do I hear a motion to accept,
I'll
purchase
make a
order?
motion to accept.
A motion, do I hear a second?
I'll second it.
Motion is second, roll call, please.
Mr. Armstrong?
Aye.
Ms. Thomas?
Aye.
Mr. Henderson?
Aye.
Chairman Kathy?
Aye. As we move down the agenda, is there any trustee comments? Hearing none, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion, we adjourn.
I'll second it.
Have a motion is second, roll call, please.
Ms. Thomas?
Aye.
Mr. Henderson?
Aye.
Mr. Armstrong?
Aye.
Chairman Kathy?
Aye. We are adjourned.
Good
Thank you
meeting.
all. And I like the blue,